Okay, here are the notes for 3.1, and we're going to review just graphing lines to start off with today. So our first form is slope-intercept form. That's our favorite, y equals mx plus b. So in this form, m is the slope, rise over run, and b is the y-intercept. Pause the video and copy this down. Okay, so now we're going to do two examples. Let's do this one, y equals negative 3x plus 4, and here's our other one, y equals 1/2 x. So we're just going to graph them. We're not going to be super careful. Here's my two coordinates. So to graph these, you always start, I always kind of say B is for beginning because you're going to graph the B first. That's where you begin. And you graph the B. So here I'm going to graph the 4 first, and it's on the y-intercept, so it's where it crosses the y-axis. So I'm going to go up 4. There's my 4. Then, if I don't have a fraction here for my rise over run, I put it over 1. So my rise is negative 3, and my run is 1. So my rise over run, my rise is negative 3. My run is 1, and you always run going to the right. So I rise negative 3, 1, 2, 3, run 1, goes right there. There's my dot. And I always tell you can do it more than once, so I can do it again. Rise 1, 2, 3, and run one more. It's nice if you put 2 dots, then you have it easier to graph. And go my line through those, and there's my graph. All right, on this one, if I don't have a b over here, it means that b equals 0 when I don't see it. So here, it's going to be at 0 because b is 0. And then my rise over run, my rise is going to be 1. And my run is going to be 2. So I'm going to rise 1, run 1, 2. Put a dot. Then do it again. Rise 1. Run 1, 2, put a dot, and then there's our line. All right, our other form that you see a lot is standard form. And that's in the form ax plus by equals c. And these are actually super easy to graph, and I'm going to show you my super secret way. This is my super secret cover-up method. All right, so here's how it works. I'm going to give you two examples again. 3x plus 2y equals 6, and x minus 2y equals 4. So you have to watch carefully or you're going to miss it. Let's draw our graphs. All right, here's how you do it. You cover up the 2, you cover up this part, and what I see here is 3x equals 6. Well, if 3x equals 6, what is x? Well, we divide by 3, and we get x equals 2. Now I'm going to do the other one. I cover this part up, and I have 2y equals 6. In my head, I can divide by 2, and I get y equals 3. Now, these two things here are what I'm going to graph. I'm going to graph, this is the x. So I'm going to graph x is 2, and I'm going to graph y is 3. 1, 2, 3, graph y is 3, and there's my line. All right, so let's do it again here. So here I cover up the y part, and this one already says what it is. It says x equals 4. And then when I hover up the x, I have to leave this negative with the 2y. So what I have here is negative 2y equals 4, divide by negative 2, and I get y is negative 2. So now I'm going to graph these two things. X is 1, 2, 3, 4. Y is negative 2. And there's my line. Now the only other thing I want to talk about today are what I call the tricky lines. And these are actually the easiest ones, but they're tricky. So the two tricky lines Let's draw these. And then the two tricky lines look like this. One of them, let's go over 3, looks like this. Well, if I think about any point on this line, this is going to be 3, 0. This point here is going to be 3, 2. So every point on this line has x equals 3. If it's an up and down line, it's going to be an x equals line. On this one, let's do one going the other way. If I put a point here, this is 0, 2. If I put a point here, this is 3, 2. So any line going sideways like this, notice the y here is always 2. So a sideways line is always y equals whatever the number is. So those are our two tricky lines. Up and down lines are x's, side to side is a y.